Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. I am Ashish and this video I will tell you about the sublingual salivary gland. In our body we have three pairs of salivary gland that are the sublingual, submandibular and the parotid. Parotid salivary gland is the largest and it weighs around 25 gram while the sublingual is the smallest and weighs around only 3 to 4 gram. It is located below the tongue. So suppose this is the surface of our mouth or the lower surface of our mouth, or you can say the buccal floor of the buccal cavity, and above we have the tongue. So if you see just below the floor of the mouth, somewhat laterally to the tongue, the sublingual salivary gland is located. We will be seeing its exact location in the 3D, but meanwhile you should know in this schematic diagram you can see this is the level of the tongue or the margin of the tongue, and you can see below the floor of the buccal cavity, that's below the floor of our mouth, and somewhat lateral to it we have the sublingual salivary gland, and it is present just anterior to the or related more medially to the submandibular salivary gland. So both the glands are separated by one muscle which is called the mylohyoid muscle, and the posterior to the sublingual salivary gland we have the hyoglossus muscle. Now let's talk about some general features of the sublingual salivary gland. So it is located below the tongue and it is almost almond shape. So you can compare the shape of the sublingual salivary gland to that of an almond, and it rests in the sublingual fossa of the mandible. If you see the mandible, there is some in the inner aspect we have some fossa that's called the sublingual fossa of the mandible, in which the sublingual salivary gland rests. This is the 3D model of the mandible, and if we look at the posterior aspect of the mandible, we can clearly distinguish the sublingual fossa, where the sublingual salivary gland actually rests. So you can see the highlighted portion. We have the sublingual fossa, and more lateral to the sublingual fossa we have the submandibular fossa, in which the submandibular salivary gland rests. So here is the skull of the human body, and now we will look at the exact location of the sublingual salivary gland along with the position with respect to the different parts of the mouth. So if we are going to look from the posterior aspect and then zoom into the sublingual salivary gland. So if we zoom in, we can clearly distinguish the two salivary glands that are present on the right side, that are the submandibular, sublingual salivary gland, and you can distinguish one muscle over here that's called the mylohyoid muscle, which divides the submandibular salivary gland into two parts, a superficial part and a deep part. So this is the submandibular salivary gland, this is the sublingual salivary gland, and the muscle over here which is separating them are the mylohyoid muscle. And here you can see the position of the sublingual salivary gland with respect to the floor of the buccal cavity. If you look from the side, that the view is clearly visible from there. So here you can see the position of the sublingual salivary gland with respect to the tongue. Here you can see it is present below the floor of the buccal cavity, just below the tongue, and somewhat later to the central part of the tongue. Now at last let's look at all the three pairs of salivary gland that we have. So on the sides of the ramus of the mandible we have the parotid gland. Then if you look in the interior aspect or from the inner side of the mandible, we can distinguish the other two pairs that are the submandibular salivary gland and the sublingual salivary gland along with their ducts. Now we'll talk about the duct of the salivary gland. So if you consider this as a salivary gland, that is a sublingual salivary gland, from the glands there are many small ducts arise that are around 15 to 20 number and arises from mostly on the anterior side but can arise from any of the part. So these ducts are called the duct of Ravinus. Okay, they have got the name, the small ducts. The you can say ductules that arise from the sublingual salivary gland are called the ducts of Ravinus. They open separately on the sublingual fold, and while some on the anterior part of the gland unite to form the sublingual duct. Okay, so these are the parts or the ducts from the other parts of the gland, but more on the anterior side if you see the ducts unite to each other and they form a common duct that's called the sublingual duct, and that is called the name duct of Bartholin's. So you can see the ducts of Ravinus combine on the anterior aspect of the gland and they call the duct of Bartholin's or simply the sublingual gland. These openings can either be open into the lower surface of the tongue or they can open into the duct of the submandibular duct or the duct of the submandibular gland. Okay, so they can either open to the mandibular duct, or they can open directly on the surface of the mouth. If you look at this diagram, you can see the duct of Bartholin. So these are not the duct of Ravenous. So ducts of Ravenous are the 15 to 20 ducts that arise from other parts of the gland, and some of the ducts of Ravenous from the anterior part, they unite to form the sublingual duct. So you can see sublingual ducts are either opening to the floor of the mouth, or they are combining with the duct of the submandibular gland. So this was about the supply of the or connections of the submandibular salivary duct with the sublingual duct. Now let's talk about the remaining topic, that are the blood supply, nerve supply, and the lymphatic drainage. The gland receives its blood supply by two arteries, that are the submental and the sublingual artery. As you all know, the common carotid divides into two, external carotid and the internal carotid. The external carotid artery has 8 branches, and one of them branch is called the lingual artery. The lingual artery then again divides into 4 arteries that are not of a concern, but the lingual artery, one of the branches, the sublingual arteries, which supply the sublingual salivary gland. And what about the submental artery? Submental artery is a branch of the facial artery, which again arises from the external carotid. Now we'll talk about the nerve supply. The gland, each salivary gland has either sensory, parasympathetic, or the sympathetic nerve supply, as we discussed in the submandibular salivary gland. So same applies to this gland as well. So the sensory supply is by the lingual nerve. Lingual nerve is a sensory nerve which arises from the mandibular nerve. So mandibular nerve is a branch of the trigeminal nerve. So it arises from the mandibular nerve, and it's a sensory nerve. Now I'll talk about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic part. So the parasympathetic part arises from the postganglionic fibers from the submandibular ganglion. Submandibular ganglion is a parasympathetic ganglion, and the deal we have already discussed. Kindly check out in the video section of our channel. And what about the sympathetic supply? See, from the T1, the fibers goes to the superior cervical sympathetic ganglion, and the postganglionic fibers arising from the superior cervical sympathetic ganglion, they travel to the facial artery and supply the sublingual salivary gland. And the lymphatic drainage, the lymph from these glands drain into the submental and the submandibular lymph nodes. Okay, so this is all about the sublingual salivary gland. If you like the video, please hit the like button and do subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.